Okay, so this video is going to show you how to make a wedge. So last video was this base plate, and so this one's going to be a wedge. I've changed it over the years, but it's basically going to bolt onto that base plate, and I've designed the height so that it's going to work with the gearbox that we're going to work with. So I'm going to start with the new design, and I'm going to start drawing the side of it. So if you want to pause your video or screen capture this, we're going to basically draw this angle last, and that's mainly because it is a little horrifying to draw that angle. But if we go 38 on the bottom, 12, 8.25, and then 4 and 4, we're going to only have one side left over. So it's always good to plan out your shape. We're going to draw it on one of these side panels. Normally we use this laying down one, but I'm going to choose this one this time. And I think I'm going to use the line tool starting at the origin. So I said the first one is going to be 38. Hit enter. You can hit L on the keyboard to start your line tool. And going upwards was 12 mils. And then it is L on the keyboard for 8.25 and L on the keyboard again. We're going to go up 4 and you can go 4, and the last one, L on the keyboard, is to join the two. Okay, so we can move our measurements around. So I can click here, move this down, move this over, and if yours is exactly the same as mine, I'm going to hit dimension. I'm going to click on the two extremes of it, and so it says that it's going to be over constrained, which is fine. And the number I came up with the same as last time, which is 30.316. If you wanted to measure the angle, you could click on the lines, and it's about 3.2, 3.19. Okay, from there you're going to hit finish. And we are going to use a different diagram for the next part. So this is what it looks like from, we'll say, above. And you can see that it's 66 across, and the reason for that is it's going to mesh with the base plate, and the base plate was 66 across. It doesn't have to be, but might as well. So when we hit extrude, we have a couple options. You could go from make it symmetrical, or you can go two sides, but we're going to keep it at one. And we're going to type in the value, so 66, and hit enter. And I think that looks right. We can always use the inspect tool and click on one of the edges, and it is 66, so that's what we wanted to get. From there we're going to go to top, and we're going to look for these holes. So the holes are they correspond to the other holes that we drew in the base plate. So they're basically 4 millimeters from the back edge. They're 4 millimeters from each of the sides, and there's a 16 mil separation between them. So I'm going to actually go back to home. So one of the problems when you're starting out is you sometimes think you're drawing on a face and you're not. So when I go to home, it's very clear that I'm clicking on that face, and it's kind of put it in a weird angle, so I can hover over here and I can change it to something that's a little bit more what I want to be doing. You can hold down the center mouse button and that will pan. You can also use these tools down here, but to get to these tools you just click on them, but to get out of them you have to click a single time. And so sometimes it's better just to use the center mouse button for a lot of things. So we're going to draw a circle. This circle is 2.8. So I'm going to be using 3 mil hardware. So if I'm going to have a bolt that's 3 mil and I want it to be tightly fitted in this, I'm going to slightly undersize that. So we said that this is 4 millimeters, and 4 millimeters. So that one, we'll just overwrite it. And so then we want to go 16 from that one. Now last time we drew it freehand, so we can do it a different way. So I could click on the center of the object. I can make sure that it's the right degree. So in this case it's 90. We said that it was 16 millimeters. So I can hit escape to get out of my tool, click on the line and make that construction line. I can adjust this. So now we're just going to take the circle tool. We're going to type in 2.8, and we're going to need a center line for mirroring. So one of the things I have not mentioned, but if you go along the edge and it snaps to the center, or to sort of the midpoint, it sometimes will give you a triangle, but in this case it did not. There we go. So we'll do that again. So if I'm going along, it's kind of hugging that line, and when it hits the triangle, where is it? There we go. So you can sort of see a little triangle forming, and from there I just want to have a little bit of a line, and I can hit escape, or I can hit this little check mark thing. And then to make it a construction line, of course, we can click on it, hit X on the keyboard, or over there. So now we're just going to mirror these holes. I'm going to use the mirror tool. The first thing, it selects the line I just created, which I don't want. So I'm going to unselect that. I'm going to select the outside of the circles, and I'm going to select my mirror line. And I'm going to click OK. Okay, I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm going to hit the home button, and I'm going to extrude these all the way through. So E for extrude, or you can just use the drop down create menu, and then you can go all the way through. So if I hold the center mouse button and the shift, then I can move my object around, and so sometimes it's useful to say to object, and then I could click on the bottom and then it goes through. The other option is I could do all or distance, or just shoot them all the way through. Okay, so that's the main aspect. So there's a couple things I want to do. I want to create a plane on this faceplate, so it's good to maybe go home, and then I want to deliberately click on this faceplate. So it's giving me a plane that has, I'm not sure if that's right, so I can also spin it around and just make sure that I am clicking on the proper plane. And the reason that's important is because it's going to be an eye angle. So once again, I'm going to create my name. You're going to do your name. It's a good habit to go from bottom right to top left when you're making your name or drawing your text box. This is going to be the same size as before, and you can choose all these different things. You can also flip them if there's an effect that you want, but I want it there. And if I didn't anchor it, I can still move it around, which is pretty convenient. And then I'll hit finish. And last time I went, and I guess it's debossed or embossed, I'm not sure which is which, but I'm going to raise this one. It's probably a better idea to not raise it. So we'll select the object that I want. I will select the face that I want it on. And last time I went down, so just to show you that you can go up, I'm going to go up 1 mil, and we'll take a look at that. So we got our name. And the last thing, one of the students in my class, he did something kind of fun. He made it look like there was teeth on the front. So if you just take your line tool and you make some jaggedy lines, and then you gotta close it, and then you hit finish, and then you can extrude that. You don't have to select all of it. You could just select the tips because those are the only ones that are going to cut, but you can select them all. And then you just push down and you're going to cut all the way. So you could go all if you want and click OK. It did not like all, so we're going to go distance, and we're just going to go a ridiculous amount. And then we've got our jaggy teeth front. And the only other thing that I have going on is I went to, I'll do a right click on it and I'll go to appearance. So if I click on this part right here, fusion materials, I can open and close a whole bunch of different items. So I'm going to close it all just so you can sort of see it. So I will have the option to make it out of wood, plastic, paints, metal, fabric, glass, concrete. I typically just go with paints. There's different ones. So there's glossy. For the thumbnail for this, I used sort of a powder coat. I'm going to use a metallic flake, I guess, for this one. If it has this symbol, you can download that. And then from there, you can choose whether you want the body to be that or you just want the face to be that. So often I'll make the whole body black, which it kind of is already. And then I might take another color, such as red, and then I'll change it to face. And then I'll click on that, and maybe I'll make the sides as well. It doesn't have to be all one color. And then you can go to render. Actually, close that. You go down to render, and that looks pretty sharp already. You can hit the in canvas, and it'll do this little time-lapse thing where it'll just keep getting better and better and better. You can also do play around with all the different settings, including the background and whatnot. Anyways, I'm going to end the video at that point because you get the idea. And good luck, have fun.